At the wholesale level, it's a $10 billion marketplace at the wholesale level. And that's assuming an average cost of $5 or $4 a pound. Some things are at 8, some are at 2. It's a scaling that becomes a challenge. There are a lot of guys, by the way, who make money doing microgreens, and they rent a little bit bigger in the garage, and they run a microgreen, and they're delivering it, and they're running around, they're working, long hours, and they're making themselves good money.
One common trend that I've been seeing on social media is, these influencers, popping up and creating videos of how easy it is to start a vertical farm in your garage. And more so, there's a lot of people that are selling, these at-home, mushroom grow kits. As far as the adaptability to, the public, as far as like an amateur who doesn't have high capital to do this, is it even possible for someone to start a vertical farm in the garage?
100%. My daughter was growing it in her condo in her house and feeding her family. The challenge of indoor vertical farming isn't when you're doing small scale, it's when you want to do large scale. It's the scaling that becomes the challenge. It's not the service. So if you want to do it in your own home, you could do it in, a 2 foot by 4 foot space, and you can stack them. You can buy everything on Amazon and you're up and running, or you can go to Home Depot and buy all the components and get it up and running with no problem. And you grow stuff and you'll make money, or not make money, you'll be able to feed your family and save a whole bunch of things. Your family will be eating great stuff. And then when you get flies and aphids or any kind of bugs, you just throw the whole thing out and start all over again. And you don't throw out the equipment, you just throw out all the plants you got growing and just put in a bunch of new plants. So, and your mushroom thing, I didn't know that there were these little mushroom kits, but they make total sense when you're doing small. It's scaled when things become challenging. When you want to do a large amount of it. And I'll give you an example from Boston down to Washington, D.C. along the I-95, there are 55 million people. At the wholesale level, it's a $10 billion marketplace at the wholesale level. And that's assuming an average cost of $5 or $4 a pound. Some things are at 8, some are at 2, but it's a scaling that becomes a challenge. There are a lot of guys, by the way, who make money doing microgreens, and they rent a little bit bigger in the garage, and they run a microgreen, and they're delivering it, and they're running around, they're working, long hours, and they're making themselves good money. They can make good money doing that, delivering to friends and families and to the local stores. But if they want to go bigger than that, they want to service a Wakefern or a Giant. You guys are Americans, right? So a Wakefern or a Giant or a Ralph's if you're in California, you can't do it. Yeah, there's food safety issues. It just all of a sudden your garage won't work.
Yeah. So what is the threshold to that then? At what point, at what size of the space can you then start serving a Ralph's or a Giant, or here we have HEB, or I guess
well, first of all, you can't get into a Walmart with this kind of size. You have to go to sell to distributors who will take it and repackage it. But we recommend when our clients, we're talking 5,000 square feet, right? You need a couple, you need access to $500,000 to get up and running before you're even in the game. When you want to service the big folks. If you want to get up and running as a small entrepreneur in your garage, you could do it for $1,000 and service your local families.
A little market or something.
Service everybody in the farm.
Yeah, and then you can buy a little farmers market.
Threat to selling a $100,000 when he first started, $100,000 Audi or $100,000 Jaguar. He was I'm going to buy this or I'm going to buy that.
Right.
And now he's moving down scale, and he's slowly becoming more and more of a threat to other people. His production is too low yet, right, to be a threat to Toyota or GM. But GM and Toyota see that if he scales the way he wants to scale, he could become a threat. So the answer, unfortunately, isn't a black and white simple answer. It's like, yeah, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. Slowly but slowly, we'll take off niche niche markets and go after those niche markets.
That makes sense. And yeah, I think Tesla's the perfect example. I'm a Model 3 owner, so I see the benefit of having an electric car over a gasoline car right now, just because now they have production and cost at a reasonable price where it's more affordable for me to get a Model 3 than it was to get a Hyundai Sonata after all costs are considered. And so I can see how in the future, as you develop your technology a little bit more, as you develop your markets a little bit more, and of course, as you acquire more customers and get more capital, then those other markets start opening up for you. And this might become more affordable than what we're currently buying now.